I want to introduce Chris Audia. He's the area director of marketing, Benchmark Pyramid. Evan Crawford, corporate director, field marketing at Benchmark Period. Susan Tucker, she is my partner at Lure Agency. And we're going to ask the question, what would be the number one marketing tip if all of us were to buy a hotel? So without further ado, Chris, congratulations. You just closed escrow on the Audia Resort in San Diego, California.
All right.
Your number one thing that you can do as a Saturday marketer is going to be what?
So I assume that I have some time to make this happen, right? This isn't, I need results today. I can build a little
Nope.
here.
They want revenue right now.
I'm the owner.
Yep.
And I believe in long-term gain. So I'm going to do two things. The first is a strategy, and then I'll go into a little bit more of a tactic that is, of course, tied to that strategy. The strategy can be summed up and really it's one word, and it's caring, right? It's caring about all the people involved in your business. Of course, I'm talking about your clients and your guests, but also I'm talking about your internal guests, your customers, your employees, the people who work for you on your team who serve all your guests. You know, if you show them on an individual basis that you care about them, I mean, there's 2,000 ways you can do that, right? But you as a leader have to figure out what makes them tick, what drives them, what's going to inspire them. And then they get that connection and it's genuine. What's going to happen is they're going to turn around and when I talk to your actual guests, then we're going to deploy that same connection, that same care and love back to the guest. And all of a sudden, those guests are like, wow, what an amazing, these people are genuine, they're warm, they care about me as a person. I'm not just reservation 0957, I'm actually John Smith or whatever the case is. That breeds loyalty, that breeds advocacy, that breeds just fans of your business, and they become, you know, advocates and champions on social media. So they're going to go out and spread the good word about your business to their friends and family on social, and that lowers the cost of acquisition tremendously. So all of a sudden you're doing something kind of special that not most hotels are doing, right? You're deploying genuine care about your customers on an individual basis. And again, that goes beyond any slick marketing campaign that we could come up with here on this call. So caring, AKA empathy, that's the strategy. But a tactic that I would deploy is content marketing. And so content marketing is sort of this vague phrase that really, if you distill it down, it comes down to storytelling, right? How do we tell a story about the experience that the hotel or destination is offering? What experience do they bring to the table? And how do we use, you know, channels that have the most attention for that lower cost? You know, social media obviously being the dominant place that I would place that video in, and preferably video if you can. But to tell the story of your hotel in as many ways as possible. And going back to caring, I would say, you know, two things. One, caring enough to respect the platform that you're operating on. So respecting the difference of the mindset of a consumer on TikTok versus when they're on LinkedIn. I mean, it's very different. They're gonna be receptive to different types of messaging. And then respecting the fact that everyone is different. So obviously you can't make a unique video for every single person, but you can go much deeper than just saying, hey, top level demographics, you know, females, age 35, certain household income, and we stop there. Maybe you go and say, yeah, all of that. Plus, how about they also have kids and maybe they travel with pets, right? That's not even going crazy deep, but that's much more segmented and has a much higher chance of, I think, of striking on an emotional connection with them and getting that conversion that you're looking for versus going more vanilla and just kind of generic. So use the channels that have the attention, use as much video as you can. You know, whether that's you getting out there with a phone and you're talking to it and you're showing people around, or you're showing POV, great inspiring settings, or you're using influencers to come out and do the work for you. Segment that content as much as possible. Having that content strategy that speaks and resonates to somebody on an emotional level with your customer, that's exactly what I would do. And it all comes back to caring about them.
Awesome. Love it. Fantastic. Nice job.
And rant.
Next up, hey, Evan, you're the proud owner of a new boutique resort in Austin by chance. It's right there on Lake Travis. It's a gem. I've seen it. The Crawford Lakeford Villas. Congratulations, man. Hey, you got a big uphill battle. I heard that the hotel's struggling. Got to turn it around. What are you gonna do?
Well, first of all, I just want to, just from a naming convention perspective, I am confident that the Crawford Lakefront Villas will outperform the Audia Resort.
Nice.
I think it just has more more brand quality to
when
it.
you search A is higher up in the alphabet, so.
Hey,
Brand
fair enough,
strategy
fair enough.
number one.
No, to me, what would be most important, especially in the with where things are trending, is the development of a first-party audience, and then nurturing that first-party audience as well. And obviously, with the disappearance of third-party cookies that we're going to be seeing that's already happening, that we're going to be seeing even more in the coming years, it's highly important that we have our own audience to speak to and target with our marketing. To be honest, it's probably the most effective way to market anyways. You think about the use of third-party cookies, and we're basically saying, we think our guest looks like X, Y, or Z, so we're going to market to them whether or not they actually have any affinity or reason to associate themselves with our brand. So it's much more impactful to market to an audience that wants to hear from you anyways. So from a tactical, strategy, obviously there's lots of ways to give people a reason to want to engage with you, but I think it all comes down to giving them value. Now that could be value through tools, tactics like Chris was talking about, like content marketing, actually developing great content that people have a reason to engage with, and you're giving them value through whether it's education or showcasing experiences, whatever the case may be. And in return for that, we want some guest data that we can nurture and eventually get more guest data from you. It could be through email newsletters, still the same kind of things, content marketing. It could be through rewards and perks, through loyalty programs that we can encourage people to engage with us, and in order to get something in return from us. Chris talked about customer advocacy. I'll give a plug to tools like Flip2, Ed St. Andrews product, and utilizing tools like that to give people, again, value in order to engage with us and give us their customer data. But developing a sizable first-party audience, it would be the most important piece of the puzzle, because without that audience, you've got no one to look at your beautiful marketing messaging that you want to put out there, so I think that's probably the most vital thing to the long-term, both the short-term and long-term success of the property.
Nice. Fantastic. Yeah, it definitely is one of the hot topics on the internet zones right now. And it was certainly a great area. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. We have Susan Tucker up next. Well, hey, Susan, you are now a hotelier. Congrats. The Tucker Inn, I saw that was on the market for a while. You just closed escrow on that. Congratulations. Beautiful Boulder. I know it's a ski town, but again, another struggling property. There's lots of shiny objects out there. We've got tactics up the wazoo. What are you going to do to turn that property around?
Yeah, good question. And I think that both Evan and Chris have very awesome answers, and I feel like they all play in together with how I would approach it. I think that we need to think beyond a funnel when it comes to attracting, converting prospects into sales. I think that 2023 is the year of the flywheel, where we focus on creating ongoing engagement with customers in all stages of their journey. So let's say it's not just getting them into the funnel and having them book rooms or booking an event. It's about continuing to engage with them down the road. I think, Cory, I think about you all the time with your love of Paradise Point. You got married there, and then you have your daughter's birthday party there, and your parents' engagement or anniversary party there. So it's about, like, you get them they got you into the funnel probably with your wedding, but you've continued a relationship with them throughout the years, and you keep bringing business back to them over and over again. So I think through content, being where they need to be, where they are, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, and creating a message that really appeals to them where they are in their journey. So I think it's just the continuous cycle of attracting, engaging, retaining customers, and then giving people what, and don't forget about them once they become a client.
Love that. Love that. Hey, that Paradise Point reference, that's a one-sided relationship, by the way. I don't think they feel the same way about me as I do about them, which is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about. And it is 2003 Year of Advocacy. But it starts with making each and every guest insanely happy. And I think Paradise Point wouldn't even know that about me. God love them. I'm going to give them all kinds of leeway on this, but they wouldn't know if I'm happy or I'm pissed off. Luckily, I love that place, and I've had some heart-filled moments there, but I could tell you what, if they nurtured me a little bit more, my gosh, I would sell my firstborn for that place. So it's insane because it's that emotional connection, and it all starts from a leaky boat. If you've got a customer that's griper, it transcends to the front desk, to the staff, to group sales, to everywhere. And when you've got customers that are tripping over themselves to talk about your property, it opens up everything. It makes your marketing shine. It goes from now, and the post I just did on LinkedIn, 2/3 of a property's marketing isn't even their marketing. It's all dark. It's all dark channels, testimonials, DMs, texts. Hey, Cory, where should I go in San Diego? And I tell them, go to Paradise Point. None of it's measured. Nobody can. And that includes with groups. Cory, where should I have my next wedding? Where should I have my next group outing? I would say Paradise Point. Nobody can measure that. And that's one of the reasons why advocacy is so important, because so much of this is happening. We can't control any of it, but we can control what we do for each and every guest. As Chris had mentioned, retaining business, it's 5 times more costly to acquire a new customer than it is to retain one, retaining a happy guest. And customer loyalty makes up to about 33% of a solid business's revenue stream. Those are huge numbers. And then, as Susan had mentioned, from prospect to existing customer to post customer. Don't assume that just because that particular customer is no longer a current customer that they should be ignored. It might be for whatever a reason that you have no idea that they may need a little bit more attention. It could be a rate, could be a small detail with just a little bit more of a nurturing could reclaim that glory that you once had with that person. So constant communication, thoughtful communication, and we do this right now with some of the properties at Pyramid Benchmark, is that just those subtle, hey, how's it going? Thought you might enjoy this. Just checking in. No sales. No need to talk to you. Book 15 minutes. You have a pulse. I've got a pulse. Let's book a call. None of that. Just show value. Just be there. Just caring. Caring, Chris? This is kind of coming full. This is kind of scary coming full circle here. By the way. Oh my God. So quick actionables would be blind surveys. Again, Paradise Point has never sent me anything to say, hey, Cory, how was your stay? How you doing? Are you still alive? Do you still love us?
I just stayed there and they sent me like 5 surveys. Just
they did?
Yes.
I apologize, Paradise Point. Hey, that's this is great to hear. Fantastic.
Hey, Cory, that's wwhy you need to book with an email that you actually use. Not use like your junk email for.
That's right. Yes. So surveys, obviously, and completely transparent, honest, fixing that leaky boat, obviously, I think is a huge element of that. And then being there, your reviews, your testimonials, and moving that, even like we talked about, even to video, that whole new level. I think even people looking at reviews, testimonials, we've known through Amazon, some can be fudged. So getting that social proof, bumping that up is going to increase that retention, new acquisitions, and then recruitment. keeping great people on property. It's all full circle. So that's what I got, guys. I think it's all complements each other. You guys got any additional thoughts on that? Blew through that pretty
Cory, I would just say, like, on things like the surveys, I think the other thing we got to look at doing, and this is an industry thing, is just lowering the bar a lot of the times in order to get that feedback. It's too often, we send these lengthy, surveys, and not to say those aren't important, because they are, because they touch on every, every outlet and every part of the customer's stay. But maybe we start with just, a simple question of how was your stay, and a simple, 1 through 5 or 1 to 10. And then based on that response, you can cater how you want to continue that conversation. Whether, if it was a horrible experience, you probably don't need them to send a 40 question survey about, each individual outlet and make them fill in a form, because they're already annoyed that their stay sucked. So you don't need to force them to go through additional steps to, give you that feedback. Maybe at that point it's a personal touch point from the general manager, or director of rooms, whoever the person is that would handle that, reaching out and making it a personal conversation. If it's a great response, maybe you do go ahead and trigger that, lengthy survey. Hey, thanks so much for your feedback. We'd love to learn more about your stay. Things are moving really fast and faster and faster. I mean, look at Instagram stories and reels. People can't even watch a video or, for longer than 30 seconds. They don't want content to last for more than 24 hours. Totally. Everything is quick. So no one wants to sit there and fill out a 40 question survey. Now, maybe they'll do that. Probably the people that loved it and probably the people that hated it are the most likely to do that, because they're the ones that, are going to either want to fillet you or sing your praises. But I just think we just need to be a little bit smarter about the way we approach the initial ask to allow people to engage with us more easily.
That's a great point. It's almost like you're putting the burden on them and annoying them. You haven't filled out the survey, shame on you, right? Here's another one, and here's another one. Susan, by the way, when did you end up filling out that survey? They sent you 4, so it wasn't the first one.
I think it was on the 4th one, and I don't even think I finished it. So,
there you go.
There you go. One question, like, is there anything, like, how was your stay? It was a 4. I'm not saying that's my answer, but what can we do to improve it? And then I would have been like, open up the bar, or like make the weather warmer. But it was a little bit annoying that it was, but I agree. I completely agree with Evan on that.
But everything you talked about, Cory, and what you just said, Evan, literally all comes back to caring, to giving about your guests, being empathetic to them, appreciative of them as your customer who's paying money for you, and just care about them, care about how you treat them, care about their experience. And it's amazing what happens when you do that.
And what's funny, even the caring part even transcends to Evan's topic about first party data, right? If you don't have the right message at the right time, you could be talking to your mom, but if it's not in a caring tone or the timing's off, you've alienated that person. So that the data, obviously we talked about the money being in the first party data, absolutely, but you still, that whole element of you've got to be thoughtful. You got to be really, really careful how you communicate with people these days. Everybody's on high alert.
And I think you also need to, back to like the lowering the bar thing, you've got to be willing to maybe start small and then nurture that relationship along to eventually learn more about the customer. So, going back to the content marketing thing, maybe it's a blog article with a call to action to sign up for alerts for new blog, I don't know, things like that, or if you're enroll in our loyalty program, whatever the case may be, right? Where you're just asking for a simple name and email, and that's it. Too often, like our newsletter sign up forms, ask for your blood type and, your social security number, basically. And, because we want to have all the data, we want to be able to target them down to their zip code. We want to know, their demographics, how many kids they have, all the stuff. And all of that is incredibly valuable to know, but asking for that right off the bat, it's like, you'd never initiate a conversation that way. You'd never say, hey, Yeah, my name's Evan. Nice to meet you, Cory. Cory, want to share your social with me? Like as a first, introduction.
I swear we're not going to send you anything. Yeah, right.
I'd learn your name. We'd talk about, just surface level stuff. It's like the basic, principles of communication about, peeling back the layers of the onion. I mean, that's just, communication 101, and the fact that we don't apply that to the way we treat customers it's just a mistake. And if we did lower the bar, now you can continue to have those conversations. Now you could, trigger personalized emails that say, hey, we want to learn more about you, complete your profile, or, whatever, so we can personalize your communications going forward. However you want to approach those next sets of communication, people would be more willing to share those details with you in smaller amounts if they felt like they were getting value from you.
So incredibly important. In fact, Susan, Evan hit on a really interesting point we've been talking about. How come people's interaction with customers is different in person than it is online? Because you're right. You wouldn't walk up to somebody and say, hey, Evan Crawford, you breathe, I breathe. How about your social security number? Because I'm not going to send you anything. You would never do that.
What's your address?
Right.
Yeah.
Why do we treat that differently? I don't understand.
It's marketing advice, or is this like Tinder dating advice? I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm taking notes over here.
But it's.
I mean, I think you know why that is, Cory, and we all know it's because we're wanting immediate gratification, and you can more immediately send them targeted email based on their demographics, or target them in any way. If you have all of their information. So we say, give it to us all at once, even though that's nonsensical in how a consumer's mind is programmed.
Yeah, but in the physical sense, you'd show up at my house unannounced, right? I would then kick you out, board up the door, never to be welcomed again in my house. And I think that's a lot of what's going on online. People just don't see that going on, right?
Yep, absolutely. We've been talking about it for years, Cory. It's the same thing with, our B2B sales approach.
The RFP, LinkedIn. There's no opportunity for somebody to just reach out. They have to fill out an RFP.
Yeah, I can't even ask a simple question.
The ridiculous LinkedIn prospecting in-mail notes that you get, that are, there's no personal connection. There's, you've got to start a conversation first, whether it's B2B or B2C. We have to give people a reason to want to engage with us, whether that be some sort of monetary value or some sort of reward they're getting that's that they can take advantage of, or, and better yet, having that personal connection, and that being the value. So either things we already know about them and making that connection, or trying to uncover those things through conversational marketing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the things that I wanted to, I skipped on, is that one small, unique, personal touch at a property. And I used Chewy. I didn't know this is part of their culture, by the way. That if you buy something from Chewy and you want to return it, they say, don't send it back, donate it to the shelter, right? And then they say they're going to send you back the refund, and then they'll donate it on their behalf. It's such, I just posted one of the reactions from the customer that just blew my mind, of that one small personal touch that immediately reinforced that personal warm connection, because it's relevant, something they're doing on a very high level, high personal, but it's in line with their values, and in line with, naturally they're in the animal business. And so I thought that I've never seen a big company do something so incredibly thoughtful and heartfelt. And I think
in that example, Cory, I think the dog had passed away too, right? So
exactly,
additional level of emotion. And now they also wrote him a note, right?
Yep.
Heartfelt condolences, and If that's scalable, who knows? Was it every once in a while they do it? Who knows? But those things matter, right? That's the small touches that come from caring, that come from surprising, delighting your guests, and to me, that's the game.
And once that is done, I am assuming that customer would be tripping over themselves to give them their license number, social security number, because the trust level is off the charts now.
Yeah.
This person said, I've made a pledge to donate or dedicate 100% of my online ordering to Chewy. These guys have my business forever. And I thought that was just unbelievable. I mean, what a mad, that trust level is just off the chart.
Like they became human. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
They were a person. And I think, Evan, you talked about humanizing your brand the last time you guys connected. And that's that exactly. That matters tremendously. As we get so disconnected, we're more connected than ever and equally disconnected as a society. Those touches, even if they're not scalable, maybe it's 1 out of 100 happens, it still matters. And that gets shared on social media. So it's not like it's just a one-off goodwill. The goodwill is broadcasted to everybody else. And so I love it. And I think it's smart.
In fact, a good marketer would say, let's use first party data. Let's touch these people so personalized that it leaves that type of impression. A crappy marketer would say, let's spray the hell out of them. Let's get them at the mailbox. Let's get them online. Let's get them on the phone. Let's get it. That's the difference between the data, right? One of it's the type of message, and the other is let's get them on all channels until we annoy that. We'll annoy them into the sale.
And when you're in hospitality, it's so much easier to surprise and delight somebody, right?
Totally.
It's easy as, hey, this person loves brandy or bourbon or whatever. They show up. Here's a welcome signature cocktail for you, Mr. Smith. Here's your bourbon.
Yes.
What did that cost?
That's the type of stuff that just they're like, oh my God, they know me so well. Once you do that, they know me. This is my place. Lights out.
Yep. It's like that corner barbershop feel,
yes,
or corner deli or whatever, where they know your name and your order when you walk in, but at a big resort with 200 plus rooms.
Absolutely. And first party data should unlock that, right? We should be excited that you can develop that at scale.
Yeah.
On Susan's flywheel, past customers, new prospects, current customers.
That's right.
Data. Oh man, it's all
exciting.
It is exciting. Well, any last thoughts, guys? We blew this thing half an hour. That's record time. Any last thoughts from y'all?
It's perfect timing because my flight is boarding. So
nice.
So my last thoughts are I've got to go catch a flight so I can get home to my family. But no, I really enjoyed the conversation. I always do, and yeah, I think all of these points really tied in together. I mean, it's all the same basic concept around, personalization, and genuine care should always be that should always be paramount to anything, we're doing.
For sure.
Unfortunately, I don't know that it always is, but that should be the first point is we should care about our customers, and our employees and our, and any of our stakeholders. But, and then from there, just, how do you do those things? And how do you communicate? And obviously you need that, that first party data in order to communicate with guests on that, throughout the journey and on that flywheel and at all points. Without getting that and nurturing that, you're not going to be able to create those personalized communications. So yeah, I think everyone was on that same page.
Sure.
Perfect. Awesome.
All good, guys? We're going to do it again.
Yeah. Are we good?
Absolutely.
I think
Thanks, guys. I'm headed to the Tucker Inn before the Audia Resort, though. No doubt about that.
Tucker Inn is a great.
Hey, it couldn't be the Falter Resort. That wouldn't blow over.
Yeah, we never even found out your resort name. You didn't even tell us. So poor Brand. You got to say the name, Cory.
It's a shanty in downtown San Diego.
Cory's Chalet.
Oh. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, it's.